Hi there, it's Trust here again. Good morning, afternoon, evening. I like to do all the greetings for all the possible times of the day because I know you might be listening at a different time zone. Hope you're doing well today. So I am coming on with the final part of the How to Start a Budget series we have had going for the last few weeks now. It's the final part to sort of bring everything together and go forward with it. So if I'm looking down, again, like we know here, I make notes. I plan what I'm going to talk about, so I make sure I don't miss anything. That's probably why I will be looking down. So just a few things before I get going. First of all, well done for making it onto part 3 because we have had parts 1 and 2. I've put it into different series because it is a lot of information and I wanted it to be in manageable chunks, amounts that you can take away, go work on that, and before you come back and do the rest of it, which I am assuming by now you have worked through these steps in parts 1 and 2. Well done if you have and you've done all of that information, because then you can make use of the information that we're going to have for part 3. So the focus with this final part would be how to actually keep it going forward, how to keep your budget going forward. Parts 1 and 2 was about getting started, how to set it up, and part 3 more focus on more of the follow through and the long term. So some of the things we talked about with this setup, a bit of a recap, is identifying what your outgoings were, what your income was, what are those things that are must pay for, so those essentials, making sure that you have enough in your budget to cover those. We talked about this during part 2. If you find that you do not have enough to cover those, the two things, either looking at ways to make more money or looking at ways to reduce the amount that you pay for those things. Anything can be reduced, but let's assume that it all fitting and you have everything in place for that. So what you should have at this point, if you've completed steps 1 and 2, is that you would have standing orders set up for those payments that need to go out. So your savings accounts, your investments. I know a lot of utilities and things go out in standing orders, direct debits rather. So you would have all of those set up by now. One tip I have for that, which I find very useful, is to have the direct debit or standing order dates be as close to payday as possible. So either on the day of payday or the day after. I think that's what I have. That then ensures that as soon as the money comes in, it goes straight to those things that are important to do. There's no risk of, the money sitting in your bank account and, you get tempted to do anything with it. If you have those payments going out either on payday or the day or two after, then it's done and it's gone and you're not looking at it there thinking that it is money to spend. So the other thing as well, some people find this useful to have pay by cash for some items. So I think you've heard of the cash envelope system. So things like maybe your phone budget or your food budget, if you know how much you've decided that you want to spend on that, and that's a whole other topic. How much is a good amount to spend on food? Let me know if you want me to make a video on that as well, because that's an area we spend more than we need to be spending. But once you've decided that amount, you can withdraw that in cash when you get paid and put it in envelopes. The amount to either on a weekly basis, or you can do it for the whole month as well, how much you want that to be, so that when you go to the shops, you pay with that amount. And once that's gone, it's gone. On a weekly basis, that helps keeps things on track, because sometimes when you're paying by card, it's limitless, isn't it? You can just pay. The same with the phone budget as well. So you go into bars or clubs or restaurants or things like that. If you have the cash amount that you've allocated to that, and once it's gone, and that's it. Until the next time. That's a way to build that discipline as well. The next thing I wanted to talk about, so we talked about cash for, set amount and all of that, just looking through. So in terms of keeping track of the budget going forward, so I know that there's still a lot of people that like the good old fashioned pen to paper, so tracking it on paper, and that's absolutely fine if that's something that you like to do. That works as well. I find it more useful to embrace technology that we have now. So there are a lot of apps out there that help with budgeting and money management and keeping a track of things. 2 of them I wanted to talk about are the Moneyfy app. I believe that is on Android, probably on the Apple iStore as well, I'm not sure. The second app is one that's called Emma. So the main differences between the two is that I've used Emma for a shorter period of time. Emma is very good at connecting to your bank accounts. So bank accounts, credit cards, all of that. You can link Emma to quite a lot of them so that when payments come out or go in from those, Emma can automatically sync to them and you have everything in one place. That is the one big advantage of Emma. So if you have different accounts, different credit cards, they can all be in one place. What you can do in Emma as well is set how much does the amount you want to spend in each area, and Emma gives you a warning when you're going close to it, or you're getting past that, to tell you you're spending for this month at this rate. You're not going to make it to the end of the next payday, things like that. So those kind of reminders. Emma is completely free as well, which is always a bonus. The only thing I've found with Emma so far, like I said, I've used it for a shorter period of time, is that the categories of spend they are fixed. So it is most like I have found that some of the categories of things I've spent money on, it is difficult to rename that into something that's more appropriate. So that's the downside I have found with Emma, but it's a good addition to have. Monify, which is the app I've used for a bit longer. The pros with that is it is a bit more flexible. You have a bit more control in terms of what categories you can set on that. Literally, you can call things whatever you want. On the downside, Monify is a bit more manual, so it doesn't connect to any bank accounts and things, so you would have to manually input every spend, but you soon get into a habit of it. So when you've made a purchase, you can put that amount on there. The other thing as well, if you have, for example, things like rent or a mortgage that you're going to be paying every month, you can set them in advance, for months in advance, which is what I do, so that I know for the next 3-4 months, I know that amount is going to be set. So whatever I have coming in, we can straight away deduct that from it, because that is payment that needs to happen. So you can plan that in advance, and you can do that with any payments as well in the Monify app. Back to Emma, you can set up things that are repeat subscriptions. So things that are monthly payments, you can set that up as well. Just wanted to mention that. So Monify is free as well, completely free to use. I have used it for years, and it's really good to go back and you can view the figures either in days or in months or in years, and you can get an overall view of how much you're spending in different areas on a monthly, yearly basis, and you can look back over the years as well to see what you've spent. So those are two great apps that I would recommend. If I can find links to them, I will put them in the bottom of the video as well. But that's Emma and Monify. So all of the information in the 3 parts have been quite generic information, because our circumstances are different, the amount we make is different, the part of the country we live is different, so there's only so much specificity, let me get that right, that I can have in the videos. So if you want a bit more specific information, looking at your exact budget, your exact amounts, your family's circumstances, that is where a service like the Budget Fairy will come in. So feel free to reach out to me if you feel like you need a bit more support with getting started. Reach out to me either on my Facebook page, my email address and phone number are on there as well, or you can go onto my website, which I will have a link to as well in the description of the video. To have a call, let's look at your specific circumstances, whatever specific saving goals you have or things you're starting to pay for. That's something we can work together and put a plan for that, looking at what you have coming in, what's important, and how quickly we can get you there using either what you already have coming in, or if you need to make any more, look at what time slot to do that as well. So that was the part 3, and I think that was everything that I had to cover. Hope you find the information useful. Let me know what has been the most helpful, what has been the most difficult to hear, what is it you were already doing, what is it that you're going to do now based on the information. Let me know, let's have a conversation. So that was it for this series. I'm very excited to have followed through and got it done. I have some more video ideas coming up as well that I'm going to share in the next few weeks. So I get it together, but look out for those. They'll all be related to money and budgets and mastering the whole thing, really. Okay, well, that's it from me. Have a good rest of the day. I will be back to you soon. Take care. Bye.